What I think is interesting is just thinking about the things that we say being harmful to people that aren't in the room, right? Like, what is it that you could possibly say that would harm somebody in the other room? And if gossip is defined by what you're saying that's harmful, then people actually have to think in those terms. So how do you know if you're saying something that's harmful?
You can harm someone's reputation.
What's an example of that?
You say something and like someone doesn't have the full context of something, like, did you hear that so and so did this? And then all of a sudden people aren't trusting them when they don't know the whole context of something. And so they're judging them based on what they heard instead of going to the person, being like, hey, I heard this. Can you?
So that's just rumor.
Yeah, like rumor, but
Like,
it's
I
still
heard this, I heard this.
that's still a form of gossip, like spreading
Right.
things.
Right. That's why. So my functional definition of gossip is talking about something that you're not willing to do anything about. That's helped me understand when I'm gossiping or someone else is gossiping, is they're just sharing information and then the sharing just kind of dies out. And there's if once you start realizing what's going on, there's like this awkward moment where somebody's like, "Oh, did you hear that so and so lost their job?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then you're like kind of stuck in this mud where you're not really doing anything productive. You're not talking about it. You're just like, yeah, I did hear about that. And then you go on to the next piece of gossip. It's like, it's such an awkward thing.
Instead of being like, so and so lost their job, we should pray for them.
Yeah, that's kind of the default.
Do they have a plan?
Yeah, I wonder how they're doing. We should invite them over for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the default get out of jail free card for gossip is prayer. Like you pray for the person, and as soon as you think to yourself, "Oh, I'm going to pray for that person. We're going to pray for that person," your mindset changes, right? To how can I love and serve? How are they doing? You're thinking about their well-being instead of just sharing private information. And so the I think gossip can be harmful if you're trying to harm somebody. I think it's also harmful if you're not trying to help. If you're just sharing information and you just go on to the next, go on to the next one. Did you hear this? Did you hear that? What's going on over there? Oh, how are they doing? And there's no intention to help anybody. There's no intention.
You know, I think gossip, like when you're saying it that way, can give people the false sense of importance. I'm important because I know this information.
Yeah.
And so I think that is what is harmful.
Yeah. And I know people that are like that because when they share information, they light up. They're like, oh, did you hear this? I got a great story about somebody. And they get really excited about sharing the information. I think those are probably the people that feel connected, I guess, feel important, feel excited when they are able to share information in that way. But so some people do it because they feel important when they do it. I think a lot of people do it just to have something to talk about. And I think a lot of people are worried about others, but they don't say that part. You know, did you hear so-and-so lost their job? Yeah. And in their mind, the reason they're sharing may not be just because they're trying to feel important because they know something. It may not be because they're trying to spread a rumor. It might be because they're worried about it, but they don't say that. Because as soon as you say that, it automatically starts to invite the questions of, what can we do? Did you hear about so-and-so? They lost their job. Yeah, I wonder how they're doing. I wonder what we could do for them. We should do something for them. So it like naturally leads you or into a space that I would call like you're relieving yourself of the burden of gossip. But if nothing else, that mud is something that bothers me because you can't have those conversations for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes without feeling like just like, oh my gosh, this is.
You know, I wonder if we live in a world where our connection is so shallow, like we're not willing to be vulnerable. And so that's the only way we know how to connect with people. So we're not very connect in a world that's so connected. We're not very connected. And when we do connect, it's super shallow, and it's like the only way we know how to do it because it's been so normalized. Does that make sense?
Well,
Like,
the other way to do it would be to actually connect in a way that's behavioral, service oriented, love driven, which again, that kind of gets you out of that gossip mindset. Is that kind of what you're saying?
yeah, like we
come into the framework.
I just don't think we know how to connect in a healthy way because gossip has been so normalized. It's like on every TV show, you know, and kids are learning it from their parents because their parents do it, sometimes unbeknownst to them that they're doing it. It's just kind of like, well, this is how you connect with people. And so I think it's just a way we have found to connect with people because we're not willing to be vulnerable with our in any other way.
And so what would be the vulnerability is like asking what we can do for them, or a different kind of, like you're just talking about connection in general?
I'm just talking about connection in general. Like, how much does a person go like, hey, this is what's going on in my life. Would you please pray for me?
Yeah, that's an interesting way to put it.
Instead, it's like, let's focus on everything and everyone else so I feel better about myself. Because I do think some people want to do that. They want to feel better about themselves. It makes them feel important. It's like this illusion, false sense of security, importance.
It almost sounds like what you're saying is that instead of the way to avoid gossip is when you're in that situation, instead of sharing other people's gossip, you share your own gossip first, which would be being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right? Like, did you hear that so-and-so lost their job? Like, oh, that's really sad. And then you could say, like, in our family, we've been struggling with XYZ. And therefore, you're bringing it back to being vulnerable, connecting with other people in a real way. Of course, some people don't like that.
Or I think you could just even be like, if someone said, there's this woman who I really admire her. She does not do gossip at all. She was talking to me. She goes, if anyone ever comes up to me and tells me someone's business, I say, I am not interested in that unless I hear it from the person themselves. And so I think if you're concerned about gossip, you could ask someone like, hey, did you hear about so-and-so lost their job? And you can just be like, I am not open to having this conversation unless you're wanting help with serving this person.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, like, I don't want to hear about that. It would be some of the more rumor, private things.
Yeah.
Like, I heard he spent time in prison. It's like, I don't want to hear about that. Like, what am I supposed to do with that information?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to help someone who served 2 years in prison 10 years ago? Like, who what are you talking about? So maybe that's more what she's talking about. Yeah, that kind of gossip I could see being more rumor, kind of the exciting type. I know information that's really not relevant, but it helps me feel important because it's kind of crazy.
I think it's just getting to a space where you can be honest with yourself. Like, why do you think you need to share that information? Like, I really like your definition of gossip. If you're not there to help someone, it's gossip. So, like, is it there because you genuinely want to help someone and it's relevant to the conversation? Because sometimes some things need to be known, if you're going to help someone.
Yeah.
But if it's just a talk for talking's sake, it's probably not appropriate.
Yeah. Yeah. So my definition again is talking about something or someone with no intention of doing anything about it, no intention of helping. And I think there is kind of a line there somewhere where you can, share the news. Like, hey, did you hear that there was a terrorist attack somewhere? And like, you're sharing news. You're not really going to do anything about it. Hopefully, you can start developing the habits of praying for stuff like that. But pretty soon, you're talking about individuals that you know, right? You're not talking about the news. You're talking about individuals that you know, and that's where I'm like, it only works for me if we're going to do something. The other thing that's interesting, in my experience, is when somebody says something, oh, did you hear somebody lost their job? And I respond with, oh, we should do something for them. We should, call them. As soon as I propose things to help those people, the person sharing the information, sharing what would be gossip, don't enjoy it. They don't enjoy sharing gossip with me. They are very selective thereafter when they share that information, unless they're the people that I like hanging around. And then like we have friends that will call me and tell me something's going on because they want to do something about it and they want ideas. And those are the people I like to hang out with. But the people who don't want to do anything about it, they just want to talk about it, they pretty quickly stop talking to me. They stop sharing
I
information.
guess that's a good way to weed it out.
Yeah. Because, yeah, I guess this idea would be helpful for people who want less gossip in their life. I have no solution for people who want to stop others from gossiping. Like I don't have any advice for you on that one.
Other than like, let's pray for them, let's serve them.
Yeah, same applies, huh?
Like, oh, I wasn't wanting to do anything. I was just wanting to talk about it. Well, is it affecting you? I mean, you can help them, right? Like, there's some things people need to talk about and might need help.
Yeah,
like, hey,
sure.
I need to talk to you about something that happened, with my mom.
But then that would be about them, not their mom. Like it's information about their mom that's affecting them, and so you're with the person who's being affected. You're not talking about the person who's affected. So yeah, I could see like you're talking about validating people's experiences
or just asking curious questions. Yeah, like if they're feeling affected by it, because some people don't know that they feel affected by it until you help them connect to that.
Yeah, fortunately, in our circles, I don't think we have a lot of gossipers. I know that in some circles, it's like instead of a cheerleading squad, you have a gossiping squad. And
you know what I would like to talk about is complaining and negativity.
Instead of gossiping, just being negative.
It's just being negative and complaining. Like I hear that so much.
What, you mean like victim?
Yeah, victim to everything. It's too hot. It's too cold. I have too much responsibility.
Don't have time.
I don't have time. And
too many kids.
Like the complaining, and that is really hard. That is draining. Like that's, to me, is a symptom of ingratitude. People who are not grateful.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I know quite a bit of people who are pretty negative.
What?
And they don't know how to relate unless it's through negativity. You try to help them, like turn the conversation. Well, let's like, what are you grateful for? And it's like impossible. In their mind, you can see that it's like impossible for them to see, how could this be good? I'm not understanding what you're saying. It's 1,000 degrees outside. How can you tell me I need to be grateful for that? And it's like,
don't take this negativity from me.
Yeah, and like that, I think, is a really bad disease, plague that's going around.
It would just be victim, though, right? Like it's an addiction to being victim.
Yes.
Because the victim mentality empowers you, or it's a false empowerment, but it empowers you to drop responsibility and feel good about it. Where you can just be like, I don't have to take care of this thing because I'm victim to the thing that I'm complaining about. So
yes, when I just had this thought. One that I really hate is people will talk about, yeah, my kids, they have all this and all these things, and they're complaining about their kids' activities and like that they have to do these things. And I'm like, well, in my mind, I'm like, you chose to do that, right? So why are you complaining about something you chose to do? And just like, suck it up, buttercup. You chose it. It's like they don't see that. It's like like you said, the victim. This is what I have to do because this is what being a good parent means. And I really actually hate it, but I can't express that. So I'm just going to complain about it. It's like, oh my.
Yeah.
That's really hard for you.
That's powerful. So the parent chooses to load up the schedule and then uses that as an excuse to say, I can't do anything else. I'm a victim to the schedule I created.
And then they shame their children for the schedule the parent allowed to begin with. Like, yeah, because I have to do this for you. Yeah, this
Otherwise,
is something, yeah. And it's like, that is so inappropriate and
because
so sad.
if they didn't have the schedule, they'd be a bad parent. So it's almost like they're a victim to their own parenting expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, that's definitely a different topic.
Yeah.
but yeah, it probably falls into the same thing of not being present, not being connected, not talking about who you're going to help, but we're just talking about like I'm helpless.
That one's
I'm
hard for me.
I'm a victim to everything. And that's really hard to be around too. Like being around people that are negative is exhausting. Like it's not I love interesting people, and one of the most uninteresting things is negativity. Like just complaining about how hard your life is. Like if you got something going on, great. You got two things going on, fine. You got three, like if it's just one after the other and you're just on and on and on about every little thing that comes up, sorry, I don't have time for that.
Yeah, and it's just harmful. It's harmful to yourself, it's harmful to those around you. And it teaches your children that behaving that way is okay.
Yeah. Well,
And those are,
there's a lot of children that do that too. A lot of children that are just negativity victim about everything.
yeah, because it's been so normalized. That's how they only know how to relate to the world, because probably they see it from their own parents. And then the parents want to complain about it instead of like looking within and being like, okay, how have I maybe contributed to this? Instead, they become more victim to their children who behave the way that they only know how to behave.
It's a cycle. Huh. Interesting. Any last thoughts?
Because I think one of the things I've been thinking about is learning to be intentful with what I say. Don't just say things to say things. You say that to our kids a lot.
Yeah, because our kids like to say things just to hear the sound of their voice.
Yeah, and it's like, learn to be intentful with your words. Learn to say what you mean and mean what you say, and learn to empower. Like, I think you can give information while you're empowering yourself and you're empowering others, and it can not be gossip or negativity. And so it's like learning to get very clear with yourself and honest with yourself, and to see maybe where you do that, and then be willing to make changes, but just learn to be intentful with your words, because words matter. One of Christ's name is the Word. He is very careful with what he says, and he means what he says, and he says what he means.
And silence is powerful too. I know we've had conversations about that, and when I've seen you practice being intentfully silent, you always seem to be surprised by the results. Like it's easy to say too much.
Yeah.
Easy to over explain.
I like to lecture.
I think everybody.
I like to give lectures.
Yeah.
Lectures on faith, lectures on behavior, lectures on I don't like what you're doing. So let me tell you about it.
All right. See ya.